From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Wednesday, August 10th. Rain chances will diminish as we go throughout the morning. Some more clear skies are expected by noon. Temperatures are going to get to the 80s by the afternoon with partly cloudy skies. Some light winds will stick around with a high of 83. And today, the beginning of a final farewell to Indiana Congresswoman Jackie Walorksi. A visitation will be held in Granger just outside of South Bend. It runs from 12 to 7 at Granger Community Church. Wish TV will be there, as well as at Walorski's funeral service tomorrow morning. We will carry that service live. It's scheduled to begin at 11, also at Granger Community Church. Walorski's communications director will be laid to rest today. Emma Thompson was in the SUV with Walorski the day that they crashed last Wednesday, killing a total of 4 people. Thompson's funeral will be in Pennsylvania, where she grew up. It starts at 11 this morning at the Westmont Presbyterian Church in Johnstown. Voters in northern Indiana will have 2 choices to make about Walorski's seat in Congress. Governor Holcomb is calling a special election the same day as the general election on November 8th. Walorski's term ends January 3rd, so voters will choose who will serve the remaining weeks of that term. Most will also choose the next representative for the 2nd District. The district lines are newly redrawn, so not all voters will weigh in on both questions. Democratic State House candidates say that they're confident they can use the abortion debate to break the Republican supermajority in the State House internal GOP survey. They say the survey found 63% of Indiana voters opposed a total abortion ban. A 2019 Ball State survey showed less than 20% favored banning abortion entirely. Republican House Speaker Todd Houston says voters will have a chance to make their voices heard in November. Anti-abortion groups say the ban doesn't go far enough. Indiana Right to Life's Mike Fitcher says the group might push for further restrictions following the election. Democrats say they would settle for a ban up to 20 weeks, Indiana's former law. The ban goes into effect September 15th. Today, former President Donald Trump will answer questions under oath in the civil investigation into his business practices. He confirmed the deposition on his Truth Social account. The New York Attorney General is looking into evidence that Trump's company exaggerated the value of its assets to get loans and tax breaks. The deposition comes just 2 days after FBI agents searched his Mar-a-Lago home. Now Republicans are unifying behind Trump, accusing the Biden administration of weaponizing the Justice Department before the midterm election. Former Vice President and former Indiana Governor Mike Pence tweeted his concerns, saying, "No former president of the United States has ever been subject to a raid of their personal residence in American history." Pence goes on to write, "The search undermines public confidence in our system of justice, and Attorney General Garland must give a full accounting to the American people as to why this action was taken, and he must do so immediately." The National Archives asked the Justice Department earlier this year to investigate Trump's handling of the White House records. It came after the archives recovered 15 boxes of documents from Mar-a-Lago. They discovered some of the presidential records had been torn up or contained classified information. A CNN reports that there's indication Trump's office and personal quarters were the focus of Monday's search. Indiana Republican Representatives Jim Banks and Victoria Spartz joined about a dozen other Republicans at Trump's summer home in Bedminster, New Jersey last night. President Trump told lawmakers he's made up his mind about a 2024 presidential campaign and that they will all be happy with his decision. And a fight over Trump's taxes could head to the Supreme Court. A federal appeals court approved a request yesterday that allows a House Ways and Means Committee to obtain the paperwork. The decision from the D.C. Circuit Court is a major defeat for Trump, who spent years trying to prevent the release of his tax information. His lawyers could appeal the decision and extend the litigation by going directly to the High Court. One of America's most infamous moments won't get a new day in court. A grand jury in Mississippi has decided not to charge the woman whose accusation touched off the lynching of Emmett Till nearly 70 years ago. Jurors in Leflore County heard more than 7 hours of testimony last week. They ultimately decided there was not enough evidence to indict Carolyn Bryant Donham. She touched off Till's kidnapping and murder by accusing the 14-year-old of making unwanted advances. She was married to one of 2 men who were acquitted at trial of murdering Till, then later admitted they did it. Both men died long ago. Revelations in recent years have fueled claims that Bryant Donham lied about the encounter. A man is now charged with murdering 2 Muslim men in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He's also identified as the prime suspect in the slayings of 2 other Muslim men. Police arrested 51-year-old Muhammad Syed yesterday. Police say he is Muslim, originally from Afghanistan. Investigators say Syed had lived in the U.S. for about 5 years. Police say he knew the victims to some extent and that interpersonal conflict may have led to the murders. Albuquerque police are now trying to determine whether the deaths should be classified as hate crimes, serial killings, or both. A doctor in California is accused of trying to poison her husband with drain cleaner. Detectives released video from the couple's kitchen. They say it shows Yu pouring drain cleaner into Jack Chen's lemonade. Chen's attorney says his client set up the cameras after an illness led to suspicion. Yu is out on $30,000 bond. Chen has filed for divorce. President Joe Biden will sign a bill into law today that will provide health care benefits for veterans exposed to burn pits. The legislation directs officials to assume certain respiratory illnesses and cancers among veterans are related to burn pit exposure. Burn pits were used in Afghanistan and Iraq to dispose of cans, chemicals, human waste, medical equipment, plastics, and tires. However, the Department of Veterans Affairs denied 70% of disability claims involving exposure. Under the new law, veterans can get disability payments without having to prove the illness was a result of their service. A local agency offering monkeypox vaccine says demand is high. The Damien Center in Indianapolis started giving out the shots about a week ago. The Damien Center has long offered support and resources to people facing AIDS and HIV. Some of its clients are in higher risk categories for monkeypox, too. The director says the center is vaccinating about 300 people to start and adjusting staffing to keep up. The Damien Center also offers treatments for monkeypox. The CDC reports 77 confirmed cases of the disease in Indiana. The White House authorized a plan yesterday to stretch the nation's limited vaccine supply. It calls for administering 1/5 of the usual dose on research that suggests a smaller amount is nearly as effective. The Denver Broncos are about to get new owners. NFL owners voted unanimously to approve the purchase by a group of investors led by Walmart heir Rob Walton. The group is buying the team from the Pat Bowlen Trust. The new ownership group also includes former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice and F1 driver Lewis Hamilton. The purchase price has not been announced. According to ESPN, the deal is worth more than $4.6 billion. And to business headlines, the Big Ten is close to finalizing a new media rights agreement that will add CBS and NBC to the league's lineup while ending a long partnership with ESPN, that's according to sources. Fox will remain the Big Ten's main media partner and had representatives attend negotiations with other potential partners during the past few months. According to Sports Business Journal, ESPN rejected the Big Ten's final offer of a 7-year, $380 million agreement, which would have included rights to fewer marquee games than the network's current agreement. A tax credit of up to $7,500 could be used to defray the cost of an electric vehicle under the so-called Inflation Reduction Act, now moving toward final approval in Congress. But the auto industry is warning that the vast majority of EV purchases won't even qualify for a tax credit that large. That's mainly because of the bill's requirement that to qualify for the full credit, an electric vehicle must contain a battery built in North America with minerals mined or recycled on the continent. Walmart has held talks with media companies about including streaming entertainment in its membership service. Executives from Paramount, Walt Disney, and Comcast, which operate several major streaming services, have in recent weeks spoken with Walmart. That's according to the New York Times. Walmart Plus membership costs $12.95 a month. And finally today, grab a s'more and help out a good cause. The Girl Scouts of Central Indiana will host its 4th annual S'mores on the Circle fundraiser. It's down in Monument Circle from 11 to 1. Chefs get to change it up and show creative skills. You can get the sweet traditional s'mores, but also some different ones like truffle pops to donuts, substituting the traditional ingredients, a lot more things. Each treat costs $5 a piece. Again, the annual fundraiser going to benefit the Girl Scouts of Central Indiana. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand for even more on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.